good.
I found it, but they only either had like the third book, and that was the only English book they had. And then there's a place that I did to go and buy my books. It's pretty cheap.
Let's start with the nigun today. Okay? Nigun. It goes like this. You guys know it, but we're going to change up the words. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Mi shimmy kasada. Mi shimmy, 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 shimmy. Put your hand down. Mi shimmy. I can't hear you. Ay, ay, ay. Mi shimmy kasada. Mavli besimcha. Ay, ay, ay. Mi shimmy kasada. Adam marbin besimcha. Misha, 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 Nir Sada. Misha, 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 Nichnas Adam. Misha, Nichnas Adam, Marbin besimcha. Mishenichnas Adam Marbin besimcha. Here now, here. V'nafo, 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 v'nafo hu. V'nafo, 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 v'nafo hu. Ay, ay, ay. Asher yishletu haYehudim heima b'sameihem. Asher yishletu haYehudim heima b'sameihem. Oy v'nafo, 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 v'nafo hu. V'nafo, 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 v'nafo hu. Asher yishletu haYehudim heima b'sameihem. Asher yishletu haYehudim heima b'sameihem. Amalek tistalek, Amalek tistalek, min hamoach ve'aleh. Amalek tistalek, Amalek tistalek, min hamoach ve'aleh. Ve'zakeinu Kabel Kedushat Purim Be'emet. Ve'zakeinu Kabel Kedushat Purim Be'emet. You know what tistalek means? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Someone you don't like is in your home. You say tistalek mikan. Get out of here. Tistalek. Mikan. Mikan means from here. Tistalek. Get out. Not micha. No. Amalek. The truth is, this year we want Amalek to get out. Not only metaphorically. No, this year.
Physically.
This year we actually got real Amalek that we're fighting against. Hi, that's Hamas in Gaza. We want to get rid of them, not only from our hearts and our minds, but also from Gaza. Amalek tistalek, min Amovel, min Gaza ve'Rafia. Amalek tistalek, min Amoach ve'Halev. Lev. What's Lev?
Heart.
You got it. Israel, you got the same book as Akiva, of Gedalia. Gedalia, why? Did you go shopping together?
No.
How did that happen? You both bought the same book at the same time.
It's a good book. I saw it on the shelf. There's like a beginner.
Let me see it.
Do you recommend this?
I don't know. I haven't seen it before. Verbs. Test yourself. This is all about verbs? What about the rest of the language?
Oh, you might want to start from the beginning, which is the other side of the book.
For the beginner. The Hebrew alphabet, vowel signs. Very nice. Practice your writing. Major verb patterns, minor verb patterns. Good. Their variations. Very good.
It was hard to feel today, mine too.
Yosef, look at the script chart. You can see I was right with all my corrections of what you had. Show him, please. Show him the script, the corrections. Look at the Dalid. Look at the Hey. Look at all those letters that I had to correct you on. Okay. What page? All right. But yesterday I taught you a new song. It's on the board. You weren't here. You weren't not feeling well. You're feeling better. Good. Because this is the new song. It's a drinking song. Ready? Ready? Chayav inish levesume. Very simple. 3 words. Chayav means obligated, inish, a person. Levesume, to get perfumed. To get intoxicated. All right, to get drunk, I'll say the word. Chayav inish levesume. Levesume. Am I singing by myself? Chayav inish levesume. Got it? Yosef, you got it? You don't get it. The throat is not good, but you can mouth the words. Israel, you got the words? Chayav inish levesume. It's like a sumo wrestler. Right, Gedalia is doing sumo wrestling with that egg.
Use this napkin to wipe off the
It's alright. It's okay.
The skin is like glued to the egg.
We're riveted to your operation there. Thank you so much for sharing. Levesume.
What's the first word?
Chayav. Inish. It's Aramaic for ish. Levesume. Chayav inish levesume. Now comes the hard part. Ad de lo yada. Ad de lo yada. We started reading up until here. Ad de. We repeated this twice. Ad de lo yada. 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 Double. Ad de lo yada. Ad de lo yada. Ad de lo yada. You got it. I think you got it. It's a different tune, but so. You guys know your Purim songs. You ready to party? You're ready to party. Okay. You do by tomorrow, by today. When is it? What's that day?
By Thursday.
By Thursday. Okay, Beseder. Tomorrow's Tanit Esther. What do we eat on Tanit Esther?
Nothing.
Good. When does the fast start?
Morning.
Right. About 5 in the morning. It ends. Well, 5 in the evening. It's about 12 hours. We're almost near the equinox, the day where the hours of daylight are the same as the hours of evening, right? We're springtime, so we're in between. So we're almost very close to the equinox. So it's pretty much 5 to 5. It's a 12-hour fast. Do you think you can do it, Yisrael? You can fast for 12 hours? What else don't you do on Tanit Esther?
Wash.
Nope, you're allowed to wash.
Work.
Nope, you're allowed to work. Strike 3, you're out. Watch out, man. Don't guess.
I'm sure that you basically everything.
Right, just not eat and drink. Drink is the other one. Eating and
Oh,
drinking.
there's a trick question?
It was, of course, I was trying to, just eat and drink. You said eat before. Now I said drink also. You can't drink 12 hours. All right.
I'm looking at
Okay. What's the nature of Tanit Esther? What? Yeah, so what? You're fasting. I know, physically. Don't eat and drink. Good. Where's your mind? Where's your heart?
To remember, yeah,
What are you remembering?
the hardship
The hardship that they had, okay. Why?
Almost getting genocided.
Say what?
Almost getting genocided.
Almost getting genocided, okay. That's hardship, for sure. That's danger. So to remember the danger, okay. Why? We're going to do that on Purim.
Does this mean that Simchat Torah is also going to become a feast day?
Simchat Torah is a feast day.
A fast day?
No. It's a Torah holiday. Yes, sir.
Purim, how many person read the Torah?
Read the Torah? 3. But tell me, what about Tanit Esther? What are you thinking of on that day? We're going to have class. It's tomorrow, guys. It's tomorrow.
We learned about another holiday on that.
To remember.
What are you remembering?
No.
So it's interesting. Most fast days, I told you yesterday, the 4 fast days instituted by the sages are to remember the destruction. They all have a little bit of mourning. They all have a mourning aspect because the temple was destroyed, or the temple was surrounded, or the temple walls were breached, or the city walls were breached. It's all about the destruction. We're remembering the destruction. This is the only fast, rabbinic fast. What's not about destruction? We're not really sad.
Is it? Wait, it's Tisha B'Av.
Tisha B'Av is sad. That's one of those 4. Yes.
It's,
You should know that.
Tammuz.
Yes.
And then this one.
10th of Tevet. All those are sad fasts. Tisha B'Av, we actually sit on the ground.
I know, I was at the Kotel.
Wow, cool. Tish,
Like,
but Tanit Esther is not like that. You don't sit on the floor. You're not sad. So what are we fasting for? We said 2 reasons. Who remembers what the reasons for Tanit Esther are yesterday? First of all, we said it's a custom. It started after the Talmud. Yesterday, I got a question. Somebody said to me, I need to take antibiotics and I have to eat and I'm old and sick. Can I eat on Tanit Esther? What did I answer?
Yes.
Of course. Of course we keep the customs, but in a case of somebody sick or somebody needs to take medicine,
That's your fault.
Tanit Esther is more lenient than any of the other fasts because it's not really an institution by the sages. It's a custom that developed. Of course we keep the customs, but another reason why did I say to be lenient? Because what day is Tanit Esther? What's the date that should be Tanit Esther? The 13th of Adar. Is tomorrow the 13th of Adar?
No.
It's a preponed fast. It's instead of Shabbat. So it's not really on the original date. It's not a very severe institution by the sages. So by all means, if there's a good reason, somebody who's sick, somebody needs to take their medicines, or old and infirm, of course they can eat and drink and do what they need to, for sure. So I gave a leniency based on this yesterday. I was asked that question by a nice old lady who wants to do the right thing. So she asked the rabbi, because she doesn't know what you guys know now. Now you guys know. I don't suggest that you go ahead and give psak halacha to everybody, because maybe there might be a few other things that you might.
Do you have a shul? Like, are you a rabbi?
I am a rabbi right here. This is my shul. You guys are my shul. You guys are my community. I'm a rabbi to you. And, I used to have a community of 100 plus families, 150 families, and now I have a community of 150 gerim that I'm a rabbi to.
Wow.
And students, Baruch Hashem, but I'm not an official rabbi of a shul, if that's what you want. I prefer it that way. Thank you. Yes? But wait, let me get back to the point. Tanit Esther. Why do we fast if it's not sad?
Because.
What is fasting for? What does fasting make you do? Hananel started us off. He said you're supposed to remember. Okay, I don't eat. Why am I not eating? Because I remember. Well, what am I remembering?
The sacrifices that still made?
opens your heart to
It's a good thing. Oh, yeah? Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
Throws the fast.
Yes, you're in the throes of fast. I like the poetic language. We're in the throes. Sorry?
Are broken down and able to connect with Nishpara.
Yeah.
You're
Now, I'm not surprised that you know that. It's really universal. The world over, in every religion, people fast as a form of penitence. It's a form of getting closer to God, a form of fixing your ways. And that's the message of this fast. It's for teshuvah.
It is.
It's to take stock.
Wow.
It's not a sad process. It's a happy process. And you're right, we are remembering that we were in danger, but God saved us. So the point is not so much to be sad on this day. The point is to take ourselves seriously. We're going to celebrate. We know that, and we're not against celebrating. That's the major commemoration which we're commanded to do, to celebrate on Purim. This custom of fasting before, it might have something to do with like what Gadali was saying, that before we celebrate the great salvation, maybe we should appreciate it more if we commemorate the danger we were in the first place. But the main point of every time we fast, and what's the primary fast on which we must do tshuva? Yom Kippur. That was not instituted because of any mourning. Nothing bad happened Yom Kippur. As a matter of fact, Yom Kippur is a happy day. It's the day we were forgiven of all our sins. But it's the day we're commanded to do tshuva. And so this fast of Esther is the closest thing we have to Yom Kippur. It's a fast day to do tshuva, but we're happy because we know we're going to get the tshuva. We know we're going to get saved. But the tshuva is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to come closer to God, take serious stock of ourselves. Who has the cards and didn't give them back? Binyamin, you have your cards, you didn't bring them down. Say it, you're going to feel better, and then you'll get with it. You have a question, sir. Go ahead.
That's like 4.
4 questions. I'm glad I waited. I want to get them all at once. Question number 1.
Why does Yom Kippur, how is Yom Kippur different than any other days if we have to make Teshuvah? Isn't Teshuvah given on Yom Kippur?
That's a good question. We have to make tshuva every day. But there's one day designed, specially designated by the Torah, that everybody should make sure to do tshuva, even if you didn't the other days. This is the day that's set aside for this particular mitzvah. Even if you do tshuva the day before, you should do tshuva again on Yom Kippur. That's a special day for tshuva, yes. That's question number 1. Question number 2.
Well, I'm not done with the question. In one of the shiurim here, one of the rabbis talked about how that very question: do you get atonement on Yom Kippur even if you don't beat your chest or say the prayers or do teshuvah?
And what did that rabbi on YouTube say?
That Yom Kippur gives everybody teshuvah.
Wow.
That when Yom Kippur comes around, we get teshuvah.
Amazing. Did he mention that it's a machloket in the Talmud?
Yeah.
Good.
It's a machloket, so
right.
It's not universal. It's best to play it safe and make teshuvah.
Of course,
but
exactly.
if you sleep through the whole day, it's a question.
We follow the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the main man of the Tanaim, who wrote this book that you bought yesterday, or edited it, collected it. He was of the opinion that Yom Kippur works whether or not you do tshuva.
He was?
Yes.
Oh.
We're going to go with that one just in case. But we do tshuva just in case.
Okay, so
number 2.
Answer my question. There was one more question.
That was it. Perfect. Okay. You just empty threats. Empty threats.
But there's more of a comment fasting. Fasting is very healthy biologically too. They're doing research about fasting. And when I think about fasting, I think about the atonement element, you're denying the physical pleasures and that's getting you closer spiritually. But also, you're cleaning your body. So you're doing a spiritual cleaning and a physical cleansing.
Sweet.
So
nice idea, yeah. Yeah.
I remembered my other question. Do we...
What would we do without you, Micha? What would we do without you?
Probably learn a lot.
Okay.
is the Tanit Esther considered a voluntary fast of atonement? Such as, like, if I just am feeling so sorrowful over my errors and I wanted to do a fast for Teshuvah, whereas other fasts I feel like Tish B'Av is like, do you really get atonement because you're mandated to? Is a fast that you're mandated to do you get the same atonement for? But since this one is more lenient, maybe you get more atonement.
It's been over 1,000 years that Jewish people, the world over, fast on Tanit Esther, and therefore it has the status of an obligation. And it's not a voluntary fast, it's an obligatory fast. Customs can become obligatory as well, even less than 1,000 years. But for sure, Tanit Esther, anybody that doesn't fast on the Tanit Esther is not doing his duty, and therefore it would not qualify as a voluntary fast, it's an obligatory fast.
So does that mean I don't get like additional Teshuvah?
You can do as tshuva in the heart, there's no measure. You
Okay.
can do it deeper and deeper. But if you're actually looking for a specific voluntary fast, not today, not tomorrow, that is.
I see.
Voluntary fast, I don't suggest that you take upon yourself voluntary fasts. It is mentioned in the sources, people who really felt bad about something, they wanted to do tshuva, so they would take upon themselves fasting. My great-grandmother is an amazing story. I know pretty much only one story about my great-grandmother. I never met her. But it was an amazing thing. My mother, all she could tell, she barely remembers her. She died when she was a young girl. She remembers she was always fasting. That's what my mother remembers. Until one day we had a relative, spoke to a relative, and we understood why she was always fasting. Basically, the story is that she came over from Poland to Canada before the war, before World War I even, I think. No, it was in between the wars. Anyways, she was an immigrant. She didn't know any English. She didn't know, she was sent a ticket by her son, my grandfather. And she came over and she got on off the boat and she got on a train. Train goes, right in Canada, we're in Toronto, so it goes from east to west. She's on the train for days, probably weeks. Takes a long time, not like today. You're on the train for a long time. So she's on the train. They tell her, okay, we're there. We're in this place called Toronto. This is where your son lives. He's waiting to pick you up. She doesn't know what to do because it's Shabbat.
Uh-oh.
You can travel on Shabbat if you're on the train. It's traveling by non-Jews, for non-Jews. A few Jews are there. They're allowed to travel. But getting on and off with your bags, with your stuff, that's a problem halachically. But what you going to do? Stay on the train? Keep going to Winnipeg? She doesn't know anybody in Winnipeg. She doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know the language. So they told her, listen, you got to get off. This is your stop. This is where your new life is going to be. This is where your son is. She didn't know what to do because it was Shabbat. So she got off the train. And for the rest of her life, she fasted every Monday and Thursday to atone for her sin, quote unquote, for her violate, my great-grandmother. It's the one story I know about my great-grandmother. Amazing, huh? Beautiful. She was so careful about Shabbat, even in Canada, the New World, that she was very... So the fasting as a form of penitence is a very tried and true method. However, don't try this at home, folks. For the last 100 or even more, 150 years, every rabbi worth his salt, almost every rabbi says fasting doesn't work well today. You know what happens when you fast today? You get weak and you go to sleep. Really, you should be davening more. You should be... It's Bittul Torah. You should be learning more. You should be working more. Fasting, it doesn't affect us like maybe it did in those days. People were used to fasting, whatever it is. Nowadays, you know what's better? If you want to do tshuva,
Sackcloth.
give tzedakah. Do good deeds. Learn more Torah. Whatever you're doing good, do more of it. Not to cut down our life-giving energy, but to increase it. almost every rabbi has said that nowadays all those fasts of the Middle Ages are kind of passé. My great-grandmother apparently didn't feel that way, but she was a unique individual apparently. Wow. May she rest in peace. And I'll tell you one more story, if you will.
Oh, please.
This is about myself
Okay.
and my son.
Oh.
One Shabbat, one evening, he broke his leg coming back from shul on some steps. So we had to take him to the hospital. And so I got in my car and drove to the hospital. You have to. But then, so they took care of him. They put him in a cast, whatever it is. But then, there's no real good reason to go back. So I was stuck in a city called Ma'ale Adumim. It's not where I live. It's about a 20-minute drive away from where I live. I couldn't, you can't walk it. So what am I going to do there the rest of Shabbat? You're not allowed to drive back. To drive there, I had to because it was an emergency. Breaking a leg can be dangerous to your life, right? It could, it could be an open wound, an open break. You never know. It's dangerous. So the halakha says very clearly, if you break a leg, you got to go to the hospital. So I wasn't going to go back. So I remembered that I have a family friend that lives in the town called Ma'ale Adumim. So I put my kid on my back. I don't remember how old he was, 5 or 6 years old. And I walk about a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. Finally, I knock on their door. They say, they're in the middle of the Shabbat meal. Hello? Hello, I'm here. Will you please host me for Shabbat with my young son? And they say, sure, of course. So they gave me a bedroom, and it turned out they had guests for Shabbat. Who were their guests for Shabbat? A distant cousin of mine.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
I know them. I know them, yeah. But they were friends. They're friends. They're friends back from Toronto. And they had a girl the same age as my son.
Another married.
No. But all Shabbat they played together. And over Shabbat we got talking about, how exactly are we related? Because it's a little distant. They're like second or third cousins. It's just an airplane.
No, that's a jet.
A jet, same thing. In any case, all Shabbat they're playing together. We get to talk about our family stories. What family? It turns out, you know how we're related? Back to this same great-grandmother that I was just telling you the story about. And it dawned on me, so why are these great-grandchildren playing together this Shabbat? Because I didn't want to violate the Shabbat. Just like our great-great-grandmother who didn't want to, their great-great-grandmother who was upset that she had to violate the Shabbat. It's an amazing, powerful story, huh?
Wow. That's one of those incredible stories. That's wow.
So you never know. She was fasting Monday and Thursday. Maybe the rabbi would have told her, give her tzedakah instead. But it was a powerful practice. Maybe it had an impact on the future generations, all the way down to my son.
It did. I think it would be great if you wrote this story and published it.
Oh, sweet.
Honestly.
You write it up for me.
Okay, I'll
write it up. Write it up. You can write it in first person.
Okay.
Change the names, of course.
Why?
Nowadays, use AI.
What's her name?
Her name is Mishket. My great-great-grandmother, Mishket. Mishket. It's like Misha Nichnas? No. Mishket. I don't know what. Mishte. No. Mishket. I don't know what. Mishket is
Like brisket.
a Yiddish. It's like brisket, just with a mish. But it's a Yiddish name. I don't know exactly what it means, where it comes from. Anyways, we got off topic from Ta'anit Esther. We fast out of Teshuvah. It should be a meaningful day. Not a mournful day, but a meaningful day. And we're getting ready for the salvation. Those Jews in Persia, like Gedalia said at the beginning, they didn't know the happy end. They were fasting for 3 days and 3 nights. Didn't Esther tell them? Read the book.
3 days.
Yeah, that's what the
3 days and 3 nights. That's what she says to them.
One question.
Yeah.
We have to recite a full Hallel, right?
When?
On the fast day?
When?
No, on Purim.
Good question. The Talmud asks, why do we not recite Hallel on Purim? We should. It's a festival. We're happy. Why not recite Hallel? The Talmud gives 3 reasons. Who remembers what some of the 3 reasons are? You're really having trouble with that cup. I'm telling you, you're just not doing it right. Whatever you're doing, it needs some work. What's one reason? We're still, at the end of the salvation, we still didn't have political freedom. We see how important political freedom is, like the state of Israel. But then we didn't have the state of Israel. We just had salvation for the Jewish people. Just. Right? We were saved. We were going to be killed. Of course we have a festival, but it's not a complete salvation. We only say the Hallel if we actually gain political freedom, independence. And we didn't. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, please. Right? We only say Hallel and a miracle that happened in the land of Israel. What's the big question against this? Of course. The Talmud already asks. We came out of Egypt. That wasn't in the land of Israel. When we say Hallel on Pesach, the answer is, the difference is, that was before we came into the land of Israel. We were just being born as a nation. We're going to talk about Pesach very soon. And that was on the way towards Eretz Yisrael. Once we got there, Eretz Yisrael achieves a status which there's no going back from. After that period, we don't say Hallel on a miracle outside of the land of Israel. But before that, we do. Okay, the third reason? Like Hallel. Excellent. Reading the Megillah itself is a form of Hallel. What is Hallel?
Praise.
What is it? What does the text come from?
It's the Psalms.
It's from Psalms, Tehillim. So what does it matter if you sing the praise of Hashem from Tehillim or from the book of Esther? They're both part of the Ketuvim. They're both part of the Tanakh.
Megillah doesn't have God's name.
It's true. Good point.
Is there a machloket about it?
No. Everybody agrees we don't recite Hallel on Purim, but there are 3 reasons as to why. But you're right. It's a little bit surprising that the Megillah itself can be considered to be Hallel. Doesn't say hallelujah. Not once.
Yeah.
But it does tell the story of the Jewish people being saved. And that in itself is how we praise Hashem. Amazing. Well done, Yov Yosef.
Oh.
Did you read that passage inside in the Talmud? You just heard a shir about it from me. Best.
No. It's good. Some topic.
All right. Please open up the Megillat Esther, please. Can you give everybody Megillat Esther, Micha, behind you? You have a Tanachim? I keep telling you to read the book, but it doesn't seem to be having an impact. Let's do it. The big Tanachim, they're those volumes. The ones that your hands are on. Exactly. Who can find Megillat Esther first? Give me a page number.
I only give them out. Oh no.
Hurry up.
You're going to find it first because you have it first. I'm going to find it last because I'm passing them out.
I'll wait.
Nobody opened their books.
Don't open yet. Don't open. Gedaya, don't open. He's not listening. I tried.
He's not playing by the rules.
He's not playing by the rules. Okay, ready, set, go.
Oh,
Well, you didn't. You're still turning page. I want a page number. The precise page number.
1358.
Excellent. Gedalia wins. He cheated though. 1358 it is. Megillat Esther. It's there in the back of the book. Okay. Everybody stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing, Gedalia, and read the book. Everybody. You've read the book before?
Very short book. It takes like 5 minutes to read.
I didn't make you read the whole thing? The whole thing?
Read the whole thing.
You did read the whole thing?
You can
Amazing.
read it. I didn't read it in the class.
All right. So everybody turn with me, please, to... Turn with me to page 1372. 1372, that's chapter 9, verse 18. Or verse 17, actually. Be- no, verse 17. 17. You read it, Michael, line in English?
On the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same
Rested day. They rested.
rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
Ah, what's that? How do you say that in Hebrew? A day of feasting and gladness.
Mishte v'shmecha.
Simcha.
Mishte v'simcha.
Mishte v'simcha.
Mishte.
Do you know the word mishte?
Mishnah,
Mishte.
drinking party.
Drinking party, feasting. Very good. The end of verse 18, the same thing. They made it a day of feasting and gladness. But wait. Now look at the end of verse 19. Will you read that for us, please, Micha?
Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month of Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day in sending portions to one another.
How do you translate that into Hebrew?
Um,
Gladness and feasting is simcha umishte, right? No. The end of verse 19.
Oh,
It's
the end of it.
umishlo. Last words.
Oh, Hagrovim.
No. The line that says in Hebrew, there's a 20 at the beginning of the line. Umishloach
Mishloach.
manot.
Wait.
And of sending portions one to another. Got it? We learned that's one of the four mitzvot of the Purim holidays. From this line in the Megillah. Mishloach manot. Now look at verse 22, please. Just before where it says on the line 23, on the next page, 1373, it says again, the beginning of the line is mishloach manot. You see the line before 23 in Hebrew. Mishloach manot ishtereu matanot la'evyonim. For the giving of gifts to the poor. You got that? Wonderful. Look at verse 26. Wherefore they called these days Purim after the name of poor. Who's poor?
Esther.
What does poor mean? They called it Purim because of the poor. What is the poor? I'll tell you where to look. You have to look all the way back. You have to remember back into chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken. Chapter 3, yes. Where is it? On the verse 7, page 1363.
Oh, they cast
Verse 7. And the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast poor. That is a lot. The Megillah itself tells you what is a poor. Hu hagoral, a lot, like a lottery. And from here we get this idea that things seem like it's all up to chance. Amalek is the same gematria as the word safek. Safek means doubt.
Wow.
They say there's nothing for sure in the world. It's all up to chance. Nothing is predestined. How do you choose what to do? You flip a coin. You make a lottery. Whatever comes out. It's all chance. That's the opinion of Haman. He deals with lotteries. Does a Jew play the lottery?
No.
Not a Jewish custom. Except on Purim. On Purim, when we have a Shuk Purim, what's a Shuk Purim? What's a Shuk Purim?
A little festival.
Shuk Purim. Kids, they make a fair where they have booths and they sell things and games and all. Sometimes they have a lottery there. What?
Are we gonna have one?
Good idea. We should.
I'll orchestrate.
The reason why is because the point we're making is that Hashem decides things, even things that seem like it's chance, the lottery. Hashem decides. And that's why the name of the festival is Purim, because of the name Pur, which is what Haman tried to get us and say, oh, it's all chance. I can take care of the Jews. I can do what I want with them. There's no God who's going to intervene. And you know what happened? Oh boy, did God intervene. He got hung with his 10 sons.
That's crazy.
Crazy, huh? Who had a question? Nobody? You want to have a lottery here?
We should give away a book.
We should. We should.
Like
You know what sometimes they do, and I think we should do this maybe. Problem is, not everybody's here on Purim. You know what sometimes they have in schools? They do something called gamad v'anak. A gamad is a dwarf, and an anak is a giant. And basically, you write down everybody's names on a piece of paper, separate piece of paper. You make a lottery. Everybody pulls out one name. Now, what you have to do is you give gifts to your anak, to your giant. You give gifts to him. And it's secret. It's a secret. He doesn't know who's giving him his gifts. You leave him something on his bed, you put something on his table. And he says, wow, that's a nice gift. Everybody feels good, they're getting some gifts. And nobody knows who it's coming from. This is a toy, a game that some schools they play. But you know what they say, that you're not allowed to do that on Purim itself. When you give mishloach manot, you know what's the most important part of the mishloach manot? Mishloach manot has to consist of what?
Food.
2 types of food, right? 2 types of food, right? 2 portions of food. But what's the most important part of the mishloach manot? The what?
You give it to somebody.
No, what? What are you saying? What do you think? What's the most important part?
For matana, matana.
To give it. You're supposed to give it. Yes, I know, but you should add something onto the 2 types of food.
To eat and to drink, yeah.
No. You could do that too. That's considered a separate type. So some people give a food and a drink, but you don't have to.
Greeting.
What do you mean?
You give it personally to the person. You don't just
Close, with no cigar. Actually, the word mishloach means sending, the shaliach, with the shaliach. Some people say you should use an agent. But either way, it's still kosher without an agent. But it's not so much that you should give it personally, but the most important part is the note.
Okay.
The
note. Because they should know who to have the good feelings towards. The point is to foster the goodwill.
Okay.
If they just get an anonymous gift, they don't know who to thank. They don't know who to feel good about. Who's giving them a gift? So you have to make it personal. Not so much by the giving is personal, but by leaving a note that says this is from Micha, this is from Gedalia, this is from whoever you give a mishloach manot to. Make sure you leave a note that says it's from the Weinberg family. Please always write the Weinberg family then, so they'll all like me. Even if that's the halacha, you have to write Weinberg from the Weinbergs. Okay, you heard it here first. Yes.
I like. You know what I like better than a lottery?
Yeah.
When they put a jar like full of jelly beans and you get how many jelly beans there are, because that takes some skill. Maybe you're not good at it.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. We really should. You guys should get yourselves together, get all that guys together, and do some of this stuff. You don't have to wait for the rabbis to do everything.
Yes,
Get going, yes.
About the Megillah Esther, I have to read all the Esther book or something.
Every word.
What?
Every word twice.
Twice.
Once at night and once in the morning. But even more stringent, not only do you have to read every word twice, you have to read it from a kosher scroll.
Do you really?
A Megillah that's written on parchment. So I don't have one. What do? I listen to somebody else reading, and I hear every word that's being read from a kosher Megillat Esther scroll. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you really have to use your ears very strongly. Sometimes it's such a big shul. You were at my shul last week, a week and a half ago. You were at my house. You know where I sit? Remember where I sit in the shul?
In the back.
Back corner. It's hard to hear. Sometimes I walk closer. The one from Friday night. It's a big shul. I sit in the back. Yeah, it's far. Can't hear anything from the Dvar Torah. I fall asleep almost every Shabbos. No, I'm just kidding. But it's hard. It's hard. But you know what? If you can't hear well, go closer.
Why don't they use speakers?
Good question. Some poskim say it's not really the voice of the person speaking because it gets transferred into digital electrons, and then in the speaker, the amplifier amplifies it, and then it gets changed back into sound. It's not the original voice, and so that's why it's best not to use a microphone. But some poskim are lenient. If you have no other choice, it's better than nothing. It's better than reading it yourself out of a regular book. It has to be read from a Torah scroll, from a Megillah, a parchment scroll. Yes?
Why don't they use a big paper phone?
They could, but you got to make sure that you hear the sound of the voice of the reader and not the echo. You don't want it to be an echo, but yeah, some places they do. But usually we just crowd around and listen very carefully. And we have to tell,
But you can't make a shush sound.
shh,
You can?
yeah, that's not a word. Don't talk. Most importantly, don't talk, don't let the kids talk either.
I need to work on my shushing sound.
Except for when you get up to chapter 3. Chapter 3, everybody turn to page, beginning of chapter 3. Page 1362. Everybody see it? Page 1362? Achar hadvarim ha'ele gidal Hamelech Achashverosh et Haman. You have to make noise when you hear Haman's name to symbolically
Drown him out.
blot him out, destroy him. We want to get him. And you know who really likes this? You know what they did this year in my shul? You were there. No, they didn't announce it when you were there. The following Shabbat they announced this year we're making a new rule. No explosives.
No groggers.
No explosives. Groggers are allowed, but no cap guns.
Why?
And why? Because we're in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
That might be why. It's just not it's in bad taste. No, it's fine. But unless you're in a community where they're making a communal effort, I mean, there's some soldiers that are post-trauma. They hear a cap gun, they're gonna they'll ruin their whole Purim. 43X, man. It's the only way to go. Anyways, sorry. It's so far it's served me well. Taken down hundreds of terrorists. No. Baruch Hashem, I haven't had to, but I do carry it around and make everybody scared of me.
That's great.
Good.
I feel safer when I see people with the guards, because I know that the people with the Chayalim never have their guns loaded.
Okay.
Right? Because they're not allowed to keep them in the chamber.
Depends where they are. When they're in Gaza, they do. But
Yeah, but like if you're on the labor.
anyways, sometimes when everybody makes so much noise because of the word Haman, then you can't hear the reader.
Yeah.
What do you do, Hananel? What do you do? You have to hear every word from the reader. But you can't hear. But let's say you can't hear. Let's say somebody's making noise. Not you. I'm talking about the Megillah reading. You're in shul, you're listening to the Megillah, and the kid next door to you is saying, boo, making noise. And he's reading Ben Hamdata Hagagi, the next words. And you can't hear him. What do?
You go back one more.
What do you mean you go back?
You repeat the word.
You repeat, you're not reading them. You don't have a kosher Megillah. But the Chazan, you can't tell him what to do.
He knows.
He's over there.
He knows what to do.
No.
What?
Sometimes it happens that he moves on. He doesn't realize that it's not quiet enough. So he's reading, and you're missing some words of the Megillah. So it's not kosher. So what you have to do is fill in those words that you miss yourself. Right there, quickly. Say to yourself, in a low voice, so not to disturb anybody else, Ben Hamdata Ha'agagiva Inaseu. Catch up to the Chazan.
You have to catch all the way up.
You do, because the rest of it you have to hear it from him. He's the one with the kosher Megillah.
Can't catch up.
You better stand close and make sure you don't miss any words.
One question, when I go to hospital or something like
Yeah.
that, they are too fast, even though if you are looking that side, for example, they
Don't-
already finish the Shema Yisrael or something like that.
Megillat Esther is special. Megillat Esther is...
But they don't know.
You have to go up close, bring your chumash, and follow every word, listen as best as you can.
Yeah, so I want to try it, but they are too fast, even the Lekha Dodi for some time.
That's the tefillah. Tefillah, it's okay if you miss out a word here or there for the Chadodi. Nothing's going to happen. I'm talking about Megillat Esther and only Megillat Esther. Megillat Esther, you have to hear every word, not everything else.
Same thing will happen, when I.
Well, why don't you come to yeshiva then? Stay here in yeshiva. In yeshiva, you'll hear the Megillah. What's the problem?
I want to stay here, but
Your family wants you there. So do both. Go one day to Sderot and then one day here. But don't worry, they're going to read it very carefully. People are careful. And you can follow along and listen to every word. Yes? Questions? Comments? Complaints? Jokes?
I have too much fun in this class, man. It's a big problem.
It's a big problem. All right. So let's make you a little bit sad.
Oh no, that's not what I want.
Please open up the Siddur. Give everybody a Siddur, will you? Make everybody sad, and we're gonna pray because we're gonna remind you that we're in a state of war. Not that one. That I've given up on. You didn't learn the words. You don't know what they mean. I'm upset.
But I like to sing it still.
You can sing it.
I haven't been singing it as long as everyone else.
It's true. It's true. Page 703, please.
Oh.
Page 703 of the Siddur. Everybody grab a Siddur.
You have?
I have, thank you. And thank you. Let's see if I can find it on Spotify. You guys prefer YouTube because you don't have Spotify?
What? No, I have Spotify.
I
What's
don't.
it called? 215? What's the?
I don't have YouTube either.
Page 703.
I love Spotify.
This is the original, the author of this tune.
King David?
The tune, not the words. The words are King David, maybe. Here it is. So we have to put on the speaker. Could someone turn on the speaker? I can do it.
With it,
I don't know.
We'll start from the beginning again.
Which one was it? 21? 121?
121. You got it? Shir Lama'alot. It's the only one that starts with a lamed. The word Lama'alot instead of Hama'alot. You got it? You see where I'm reading? Everybody have the place? The place is Kedaya?
702.
703. We're going to read the Hebrew together. From whence cometh my help? From where will my help come? Shir Lama'alot. You ready? Yisrael. You have the place? You have it? You're following along?
703. No.
Yeah. 703, second last paragraph.
703.
703.
Again.
Okay, this is a nice singer, Hasidic singer from 7 years ago. It was put up on YouTube. I wonder if that's when it has 225,000 views. From 2016, this is on. This is the original. Ready? Just him and his guitar. Sweet man. Very deep spiritual teacher. מאין יבוא עזרי, עזרי השם. It's a high voice. Second line. עשה שמיים וארץ, אתן לבוא רגליך, על ידו שומרך, ולא יישן שומר ישראל. השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך. יומם השמש וככר, וירח בלילה. השם ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. השם ישמור צאתך ובואך, ואתה ועד עולם. Not bad, huh? Gonna send you all. What? Gonna send it to the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
And
I've heard this version before.
you have heard it?
I want to see the album cover.
It's called Simanim Baderech.
What's the name of the?
What's that? Ben Snof. He sings this as well. That's the cover. This is the original. Okay, so ready for the continuation?
Oh, I saw him in television.
That's Ben Weissman.
I saw Yosef Cordona.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he was playing in television.
Amazing, great. Ready? From the top. Shir Lamalo. עזרי השם, עושה שמיים וארץ, אל ייתן להות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה. השם ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. השם ישמור צאתך ובואך, ואתה ועד עולם. Good, you got it? Second time. We're going to do it a third time. I performed this once in front of about 250 people.
Wow.
With my guitar.
Oh wow.
They all sang together with me. It was at a Yom HaZikaron, a Memorial Day ceremony. They said, Rabbi Weinberg is now called up to recite a chapter of Tehillim. So most rabbis, they get up and they recite a chapter of Tehillim. It's like boring. They just recite it, you know. I said, everybody knows this song. They love this song.
Cool rabbi.
Let's sing it together. So I get up there with my guitar. And instead of reciting, I start this. And everybody, all 250 of us, we all sang together this tune. I can't remember the chords now, but whatever. I'm not very good on the guitar. It was good enough to play along.
His music is so amazing.
All right, ready? From the top. Got the place? Shir Lamalot, you got it? 121. Ready? Kuf Chaf Aleph in Hebrew. Shir Lamalot, Esa Einai El He'arim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri, Zri Me'im Hashem, עושה שמיים וארץ, אל ייתן מות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום
ולא ישן שומר ישראל, אשר שומרך, אשר צדקך, היד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יגע, וירח בלילה, אשר ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, אשר ישמוצך גואלך, ואתה באדוני.
There's more. Should we do it what, fourth time?
Yes.
This fourth time though, I think he's going to say even less of the words. We have to fill in. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Shir Lamalo Sa'ena Ede'ari Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Ezri Me'im Hashem Ze Shamayim Ba'aretz Anitin Lanu Kalecha Ayanu Shomecha Oh, he stops halfway. Oh, only half of the fourth time. All right, amen, amen. May Hashem guard and protect our soldiers and our civilians and our hostages. And that's our prayer for today. When you all come to me and tell me you know what the word shivya means, maybe we'll do achinu another time. Tell me what the word yam, no. And you tell me what yabasha means, then we'll figure it out. No.
It's something like that, isn't it? It's like two something.
No. I'm sorry. It's my failing. It's my failing that I didn't teach you properly. Let's try with this one. What does Shir Lamalot mean? Shivya is captivity, right? Shir Lamalot, a song of ascents. Esa einai el harim. What does that mean? I lift up my eyes to the hills. Sorry, Yavasha's land. Good. All right, finally. It's just like, did you get yesterday's joke also? Okay, excellent. Now, I'd like you to. You ready for Purim? Are you ready for Purim?
Yes.
It's good. So let's move ahead to Pesach. Sunday for me, Monday for you.
Oh, this Sunday?
Yes, it's creeping up. And tomorrow is a fast day. I'm going to bring in cake for everybody. I get to take it home because nobody's going to eat, right? Tomorrow's going to be hard. I won't have tea. I didn't have tea today either. Because Binyamin's not here.
I don't believe in having classes on fast day.
We don't have classes in the afternoon. But in the morning, we still have energy from the night before. And you can get up before 5 a.m. and eat. If you have trouble, if you think you're not going to be able to study, get up before 5 a.m. and eat.
What are we talking about?
Tomorrow morning. It's a fast day.
And tomorrow morning to
Get up early, eat before dawn. For Alot HaShachar, it's called.
I don't mind fasting.
Okay, if you don't mind fasting, just have a nice midnight snack, and it'll give you energy for the rest of the day. What are you supposed to have before a fast day? Carbs, I think. Carbs, what?
It's called carb loading.
Yeah, pasta, and stuff like that. Yeah, and as an athlete, you know that.
Why don't we wear sackcloth anymore? Throw dirt.
It's a good question. I can just see what his Purim costume is going to be.
I have like a real hypothetical question for you. So I always like at this eclectic Cohen's house for Shabbos, and he was like, you can make a korban. And I was like, I don't think that's true. He like
Not
We
allowed.
talked about that.
Not allowed.
But he said it specifically says to
Kares of non-Jews. Oh, saying you. We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked. Do you want to make one with me?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll help you guys.
No, you can alter on the roof.
We can. I don't know if we should do it on the movie.
Please, I want no part of it. It's forbidden. I'm going to deny that I even know you guys. I can't believe I'm hearing this.
No, it's majority, yes.
We're in the age of biblical.
Do you want to become Jewish? You have to train. You have to practice. Jews do not bring animal sacrifice. Thousands of years.
It needs to be an animal sacrifice. Can also
And
be
he brings Moshiach right back then.
What if HaKadosh Baruch Hu put like Gedolei or I in this incarnation for the purpose of making a korban?
Yeah, exactly.
You can
Yeah,
do
well,
like fruits
no.
and flour. I don't know.
Okay, we shouldn't talk about this.
Why? Yeah, why? With the Shem
I mean, we basically are learning.
I can provide the items.
We should talk about this under the table. I have a quick.
I don't want any animal sacrifice by Machon Meir students. They're going to think we're crazy.
You are crazy.
Don't let anyone know. We do it ourselves.
Even on Purim, you have to get a kosher slaughter. Don't think you can eat treifus here. It's not a good idea. It's just
that.
that
Just burn it already.
Yeah.
oh,
Hola, it's
they're going to call the cops on you. It's illegal, okay?
It's not.
It's a health hazard. They're going to close down the lunchroom in Machon Meir.
We're not gonna
Oh,
do it.
sweetie,
We're not
thank
gonna
you.
do it here.
like a kazak.
Don't do it here, whatever you do. Don't do it at all. Don't do it at all.
What about like just some doves?
You really connect to animal sacrifice?
Yes,
I actually do.
You do?
I do.
I do too.
Our generation is a little
We
different.
kill all the animals.
Come on over to my house. I'll give you a barbecue. I have a gas range. It's amazing.
But what's
We'll have
different?
fresh meat.
It's
You love the smell of
Do you not
that.
connect
So-
with animal sacrifice?
I do not connect with animal sacrifice though, because animals are cute.
It's an integral.
Animals
No,
are
they're not.
cute.
But we eat the animals.
I eat them because they come in styrofoam covered with plastic. And I
Can
don't.
you do the? Can you'll do the
I can't
slaughter?
do what you're trying to do.
Okay, you can.
I just know how to do it like regular. Which is
You don't know
Well,
how
you
to
can-
do it.
Okay, well first, Gedalia, you'll
I
learn
can
how
do
to
the
do
chicken
this
for
slaughter.
sure. It's really easy. You just take the
Yeah.
nuts, cut the hell
Well,
out.
Why don't we
listen.
Just do some doves, some turtle doves.
First of Nissan, you've got a month-long vacation. Do what you want. Not
We're
here.
gonna come
Not.
to Tacoma. Tacoma.
We should do
But
it
I won't be able to
Gedalia.
eat it, so you don't come to Tacoma.
We're not gonna eat it because it's no.
You're not going to eat it. So you're not making an ola. I can't believe you guys are serious. That's like cruelty to animals.
It's not
The
cruelty.
Society for the Protection of Animals is going to shut you
Huge
down,
death.
put you in jail.
You can make an Allah for with doves, right?
That's not going to bring Mashiach. Study Torah.
Snapping the neck
Finish
of
your book of
What if
Hebrew.
we hear about
That's what's
soul?
going to bring Mashiach.
Mashiach wants pleasing sense.
Well,
The-
not
Mashiach
Moshiach. Moshiach is not Hashem. Moshiach is more than a pleasing self.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו.
Rough. I have like a halakhic question.
Halachic question.
We're gonna go down like a
A rabbit hole here. Yes, go ahead. Alice in Wonderland.
So we talked about how in Megillah you can't miss a single word.
No.
What about when davening like on Shabbat prayers, everybody's singing, and I want to sing along, but if that singing means I miss like a few words in the prayer, am I saying
Good
God's
question.
name in vain?
It's a good question. Depends what part of prayer you're in. There are some parts of prayer where you're not supposed to miss a word, like the Amidah.
Amidah,
Don't miss a
Shema.
word. Shema, don't miss a word. But the rest of it, even the brachot of Shema, we have to be more careful. But if you miss a word of Psukei de Zimra, for example, the
Okay.
songs which we sing,
Uvelatzion.
not the end of the world. Not the end of the world.
Tachanun.
Not the end of the world.
But what about Asher and Elena?
Also, not the end of the world. If you miss a
Really?
word out of Ashrei, miss a word out of Elena, not the end of the world.
If you're bringing an Ola offering, do you have to pluck the pigeon, or can you just throw it on the fire?
No, you don't have to plug. You
You
just have to
did it.
squeeze
That's
it against the
cruelty.
altar to drain out the blood.
Are you going to do chicken now? Okay, that's much easier.
I don't think chickens are in the list of sacrifices. We should do pigeons.
But the smell of those feathers burning, you don't want to do that. You don't.
Further out.
Well, you're going to pluck the feathers.
They don't. It doesn't say to pluck the feathers.
Yeah, you can. It's like skinning the cow. You know,
I think the
It doesn't say
you
to-
should hire us.
it should make it.
They should hire us. We
What,
can't
what,
do it.
Gedalia, what do you have on your scarf? What do you have on your scarf? What's the picture?
And it has the month.
Has
It's
dogs
actually,
in it.
let me
Dogs
see,
have
that's not
dogs.
the mosque.
Oh, it's a sign.
That's
It's
the
a
Golden
sign.
Dome.
It's a sign.
Golden Dome is not a
There's
mosque.
What is the
The
golden dome?
silver is a mosque. The Golden
I
Dome
know,
is
I
just
know,
a tribute.
A tribute.
It's
Okay.
just a
Because-
tribute. It's
because
just
this is
a
sign.
memorial.
You see this?
What?
You see the bell? It's a sign.
Wait, okay. So, Rob, let's say.
Teaching tourists here. Yes, go ahead.
I like it. No, I see the Israelis that walk around with
I thought that is
scarves.
Jesus on it.
That's from the Golan. You got that from the Machina there? They do that?
No, I got it. Yeah,
There's
they
some
do
guys that
ridiculous.
do
But I
all
see the
sorts of
ridiculous
stuff.
scarves around here too.
Okay.
I was like, I need one. That's
Do you
all.
need
I like
tzitzis
one.
on
I'm
the
gonna
scarf?
ask you this
Good question.
I'm gonna ask you this question.
That's why I don't wear it. It's a good question.
A scarf?
A scarf
Four
is
corners.
doubtful whether or not you need tzitzit on it because it's four corners, right? It's got
But
four
you don't
corners.
wear it as a.
Most poskim say that that's too small.
It's too small, I think. It's also very thin if you look at.
And the bottom line is, if it's worn as a scarf, it's not meant to be a four-cornered garment. It's a wrap type of thing. There's room to be lenient,
I know
and that's why people do that. But it's more of a problem. It's a little bit problematic. I can't believe you guys. And what's next? You gonna start wearing nose rings? What are you gonna do? You're gonna start doing Beged Ivri. Oh, I know. We have a student here who has these colorful tzitzit that he wears on top of his shirt.
What do you mean?
Sure.
I don't think he goes for anywhere, right?
Right.
Colorful talit katan?
Yeah. Talit katan, but it's not so katan. It's actually, they wear it as an outer garment instead of an inner garment, the way Jews have been doing it for thousands of years.
Have
But
you seen
it's
my-
okay. Do your own thing.
Have you seen my talit katan?
Make up your own religion. God, the Torah, the Rambam says, if a non-Jew makes up his own religion, he's punishable by death. Guilty.
I'm not making him wear no.
Good.
I'm just
Don't
doing
make
what
up
a
your-
Cohen told me to do. A priest.
Oh, gosh.
It's very beautiful that Katana was very beautiful.
Bro, I have a talit katan like that.
Okay. It's not as crazy as doing animal sacrifice, but it is a little bit odd. It's a little bit out. It's biblical. I know. People, they want to be biblical. Okay, so you're going to stop using electricity? Fine. I'm going to take away your phone. Okay?
No,
What-
What about wearing sackcloth? What about
There you
wearing
go.
sackcloth?
So that's how we got started. Because he asked me about why don't we wear sackcloth? It's an ancient custom. We don't do it anymore. Things move on. Society changes. It's true that in biblical times they would do that. Put on sackcloth. You see somebody wearing sackcloth now, you think he's like crazy, right? It's only so there are some people actually. I take it back. I don't want to call anybody names, and I know there's a group of religious Jews, religious Orthodox Jews, who gather together to cry for the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, and they do fast every month. Which day do we fast?
Before Rosh Chodesh.
Good. The day before Rosh Chodesh, it's called
Purim Katan. No, Yom Kippur Katan.
Yom Kippur Katan, a
Wow.
minor Yom Kippur. And you see them sometimes at the Kotel, a group of 10 men, and mostly they're wearing black and white garb like Haredi Jews, but on top of it, they bought these special burlap bags and cut them and like sackcloth.
Wow.
That's not real. It's weird. It's
It's
an
not real.
act.
When people
No, because real, the sackcloth was instead of your clothes. You took off all your clothes and you just wore a sash around your loins. Excuse me. And nowadays, what about the underwear? You gotta
King Ahab wore
Be
sackcloth
modest.
under his clothes.
Ah, did he?
That's the style I would wear.
My wife should wear.
Wow. I mean, don't tell anybody too much. This is a little bit too much information, but many of us have holes in our underwear, but we don't. That's not. That's not sackcloth. It's tearing your clothes. Torn clothes. I'm saying torn clothes. People have torn jeans. Do you have torn jeans? Do you have torn jeans? Your jeans are not torn? You're so backward. That's not in fashion. The fashion today is to wear torn jeans.
You know about fashion.
So people who wear
My
torn
daughter
jeans
is
are
very,
righteous.
very fashionable. But
People who wear
that's
torn
it. The
jeans
torn
is
jeans.
illegal.
That's it. They're all trying to. The point is, these external acts
You're right.
are not something that are written in stone, except the ones that are mitzvot in the Torah. We put on funny boxes on our head. We wear a talit with four cornered strings on the corners, fringes. We wave a lulav. We're going to eat the fat, weird bread on Pesach, right? That's because it's a mitzvah. Whatever's not a mitzvah, wearing a scarf of this kind or a sackcloth of that kind, it's culturally dependent. Culture depends on the culture. So you look at the religious Orthodox Jews in the community, And if that's what they're doing, then you can do it. If not, you're making up your own religion. You have to be part of a society that's keeping Torah. So we have many different types of societies now that keep Torah. We have Dati Leumi society, Haredi society. Fine, take on one of their dresses. Don't make up your own dress. What are you going to make up your own little cult? That's not the idea. That's not what we do. You, especially if you're becoming a ger, you're converting. You have to join the community. Join one of those established Orthodox communities. Yeah.
Rob, I completely agree with you. I know that you're right.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Wow.
Do you know?
Music to my ears. Thank you for saying
Do
that.
you also kind of understand where maybe Gedolya or I might be coming from? Reading Tanakh, what we read about in the Tanakh is we read about animal sacrifices and people wearing sackcloth.
No, I kind of know that.
I know that, and I appreciate that, and I'm against it so much. You know why? Because, and I totally understand, a lot of people go in that direction. Because they read the Tanakh, and they say, okay, I want to be connected to my Judaism. They mean well in their hearts. But you know what they're missing out? Is that the Torah has an oral part. The oral part is a tradition that gets passed down from generation to generation. It's a lived Judaism by Jewish people, by Jewish communities. And that is what you should be influenced by, even more so than the biblical history. The oral Torah is a living, dynamic community Torah. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you, is that you want to be Jewish, join a dynamic, living, breathing Jewish people that have customs, and they do strange things enough. If you like strange things, you could do enough strange things by being an Orthodox Jew, whether you're a Chassid or a Litvak or a Dati Leumi or a Chardal or all the different subgroups of Orthodox Jewry. There's enough strange stuff there. You don't have to go look and create your own strange stuff based on the Bible. Because you do means you're not understanding that the Judaism we live today is not biblical Judaism. It's rabbinic Judaism. Rabbinic Judaism, which is alive and keeps changing with the times in the way that Orthodox Jews live the halacha.
Rambam says in Hilchot
Yes. Yes.
Non-Jews may offer burnt offerings to God in any place, offering them on an altar which they have built. I think there's no prohibition.
Did I say it's prohibited? I didn't say it's prohibited.
It's allowed.
I know that, Rambam.
You shouldn't discourage people.
I should discourage, yes.
He has every right. Because it's strange.
For you, other people who ask me, if somebody in India decide who I don't know, who's a non-Jew, who wants to worship God as a non-Jew, I'd read him this Rambam myself. I said, go ahead. But for people that are in a conversion program trying to join the Jewish people, that's just the wrong tree to be barking to be climbing.
I know, there was this big grab.
Yeah?
There was this big grab.
Yeah.
He said, if someone could give me a proof that I was not Jewish,
Yeah.
much. I will first offer sacrifices to Kadosh Baruch Hu, then we will make the deal.
He's entitled to his opinion. I disagree. If I was told that I'm not Jewish, I don't think I would offer animal sacrifices. Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I believe in this stuff, But, Eov Yosef, I heard your story last time you told me. And that rabbi, I'm sure he's a big rabbi, but that's his personal feelings. I don't have to go by his personal feelings. I have my personal feelings. My personal feelings is that animal sacrifice is weird. And there's no reason that if I want to be close to God, I have to do animal sacrifices. I can pray, I can do mitzvot, even if I'm non-Jewish. I can do lots of good deeds, and I can even pray to the God of Israel, by all means. But doing animal sacrifice, I didn't grow up that way. I think I have a hard time with it. When Mashiach comes, the Beit HaMikdash is built, I'll deal with it. I can see myself understanding it. If that's what God wants, I'll do what God. I say in the Musaf every Shabbat. We say Musaf and it says, this is what God wills. We're going to do like what God wills. But right now, He doesn't will it. And so I don't connect to it. I don't have to.
So I have a question. Well, for one thing, I wanted either your blessing on something or just your opinion.
Okay.
Is like when it comes to somebody in the process of conversion keeping Shabbat.
Yeah.
I've been told
Two major opinions. One says you have to break Shabbat
Yeah.
because it says in the Talmud that a non-Jew who keeps Shabbat is guilty of death. is on danger of death, punishable by death.
That's referring to a non-Jew who's an idolater or who doesn't.
Correct. As a matter of fact, the Rambam, when he writes that halacha, it's in the context of somebody who's creating his own religion.
Okay, I see.
But that's why I thought my custom is, if people ask me, I tell them they don't have to break Shabbat because the context of the statement is if somebody's trying to make his own religion. But if somebody's training to be Jewish, it doesn't mean he's creating his own religion. It means he's training to be a good Jew. And so I don't think you have to break the Shabbat every week. And another reason why I don't tell him to go light a match. We have a student now who every Shabbat he lights a match because he's not Jewish yet and he's in the process. And he never asked me. He asked whoever he asked, and that's what they told him. And I don't stop him. I'm encouraged of that. But yeah. So I don't. Why do I not paskin that? First of all, this is a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's probably true. Even without trying, you're probably violating Shabbat.
That's what I said. So Rob, I didn't entirely finish my question. My question was, I didn't want to ask the same question to you that I asked another Rob.
Okay.
Is that I mentioned that, like I mentioned inadvertently, I probably am to another Rob here, and then I said like, should I be trying to keep a perfect Shabbat? And he said, you should try to keep Shabbat as best you can, but you can still like rip toilet paper or something. So,
I don't think it's violating Shabbat to rip toilet paper. Well, we don't do it, but
Yes, it is.
we don't do it, but it's not a biblical prohibition of it's definitely not biblical. It depends. There's a lot of details of Hilchot Shabbat, okay? I got a very good mark after studying Hilchot Shabbat for 2 years. Let me give you another consideration.
You're creating something usable.
Squeezing.
Like what if you're carrying hand towels, like paper towels?
Depends what you're squeezing.
And you accidentally tear the towels or wiping your hands. You're not creating anything.
Toilet paper.
Intentionally. It doesn't make it more effective.
Micha, let me show you another
I
consideration.
do some thrashing on Shabbat. You go to the
Threshing. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Some people say that when you're non-Jew, you know how the calendar works for non-Jews? How does the calendar work for Jews? When does Shabbat start? Friday night, right? As the night comes before the day. That's the Jewish calendar. The non-Jewish calendar, when does the day start and end? Midnight to midnight, right? Midnight to midnight, or morning till sundown, or till the next morning, whatever. Morning till the next morning. And therefore, the calculation is as follows. If you're a non-Jew who's keeping Shabbat as a Jew, that means that when Shabbat is out, 6 o'clock p.m., you're going to say Havdalah. You're going to turn on your phone. You're going to turn on the lights.
Yeah.
But if you're not Jewish, Shabbat's not over until the next morning.
Okay,
so you're automatically violating the non-Jewish Shabbat, which is all you can violate when you're non-Jewish. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a little bit, I think some people find it offensive. And that's why I don't tell my students who are in the process that they must violate Shabbat. But I respect others who do. Many poskim say they must violate the Shabbat. But in the context of what we're talking about, if a non-Jew who's in a conversion process is keeping Shabbat, I don't think he's punishable by death. I don't think he's violating anything. And so that's my custom, but I'm willing to hear different opinions on that, not mine.
Last week in Menachem, actually the last 2 weeks is when I stopped intentionally doing it.
Okay. I will say this, it is good to choose your Rav. I mean, here you're in Machon Meir, you have a few Ravs. So you can, I'm not telling you to choose, between your mother and your father. Right? But in general, it's good to have somebody that you ask your halachic questions. to go pick and choose is not really the Jewish way. It's not the halachic way. So you should choose a Rav that you're going to follow.
And you can disagree with your Rav, right?
Well, if you have the enough knowledge to,
Okay.
you really should listen to your Rav if he tells you what the halacha is, and you don't know any better. Of course, you should listen to the Rav. That's why you're asking him for.
But if you have good argument, if you know the sources.
You have to be on the caliber to be able to take on somebody who's ordained as a rabbi. You know, what do you think?
Like going into the lion's den as a cub, right?
Exactly.
Why don't we do?
Practical Kabbalah.
If you
When
become
do it, or why can't
become a Rav, whose side do you follow?
You have your rabbis. Every rabbi has his rabbis. And once you're a rabbi, you have the ability to make the calls yourself on some things. Most things, if you're learned enough and you learn through the discussion in the Gemara and in the Rishonim and the Achronim, and you reach your conclusion, I think this is the right halakha, you can follow that, even if nobody else agrees with you. Because you have the authority, you have the learning to back it up, you have your cogent, argument. You follow that. You don't have to cow to anybody. When it comes to communal questions, if everybody does their own thing, we're never going to have a community. So
a rabbi can actually do that. He can choose his own.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Someone who's not a rabbi.
Somebody who's not a rabbi can't do that. I mean, it's not the question so much of having the official ordination or not. The question is being a scholar or not. If you're a big enough scholar, you don't have to listen to other people's opinions if you think this is... I mean, in most cases, nowadays, when you have that much learning, you also gain in humility. And your humility usually guides you to not go out on a limb all by yourself against every other rabbi in the world. Who do you think you are? Right? Maybe you'll learn it again and again and again, and you'll talk to others and you'll try to understand why everybody else thinks you're wrong. And usually what comes out is that we do sort of coalesce together into pretty much a standard way. But there are rabbis who go off in their own branch and they have their own unique halachot that they're allowed to. They're allowed to if they're of a... personally, for everybody sitting in this room, and most of my students, you should choose well who to follow. Are you going to follow the one rabbi who goes against all the 99% of rabbis? You're joining the Jewish people to join a community. You want to join a mainstream community, not some fringe group, right? So choose well. That rabbi is not doing anything wrong, but for you to join a subgroup of some Hasidic sect, that's a little bit odd. So you know what I'm saying? For a convert, you should join a bigger community. It doesn't have to be the biggest. It's not a question of size. It's a question of, if there's usually a consensus, a standard, and then there's the unique special people. So you can always be a unique special person following a unique special Rav. But I don't recommend that as your first steps as becoming a Jew.
Rob?
Yes, sir.
So what's the procedure for
Excuse me.
picking a Rob? Can you have multiple Robs if they communicate together? Or?
You can have multiple Ravs on different subjects. Like you can say, this rabbi, he really knows his laws of Shabbat. And the other rabbi, he really knows his laws of Kashrut. And this other rabbi, wow, he really knows the laws of Medinat Yisrael, the laws of how to deal with the state of Israel and the war and the being a soldier and all that. And I like to follow his opinions on this subject. You can do that by subject, yes, because sometimes there's expertise in a certain subject. The halacha recognizes that. Sometimes, though, you know what the best thing to have a rabbi for is not really halacha. To have a rabbi is many times a mentor. He's a guide. He's someone who you ask life questions to. You don't have to listen to the life questions, but you want to get married. It's the biggest decision you're going to make in your life. Maybe you want to consult with the rabbi, tell him about who she is, maybe even have her meet him, and get his opinion. You don't have to do everything he says, but if he knows you, he knows your background, and he has some wisdom, so you trust their wisdom. So that's another reason to have a rabbi, because rabbis are usually wise. They have experience, and they're halachically related questions. It's not really a question of prohibited or permitted. It's a question of life guidance. That's very useful to choose. And there I would choose somebody and not just take an expert in this particular field of law. Choose a rabbi who you like his approach to Judaism, you think that he's wise in life matters, and follow him and make him your mentor. Other than the halachic questions, which is, if it's the same person, great. Usually that's ideal. You ask him the halachic questions and the pseudo-halachic questions, or the semi-halachic questions. That is good to have a rabbi like that. That's what the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, Aseh lecha rav. Make for yourself a rabbi. That's what they mean. Obviously, if you don't know anything, you have to make yourself a rabbi. You know what many people say today, who the best rabbis are?
Google.
Books. But we have to be careful about that, because book knowledge is not the same thing as real life knowledge. And we had a case here, you guys know the story, of somebody who asked a question on the internet from some AI program, and he got the wrong halacha. It's just wrong, like wrong. It sounded so good, even quoted sources, and then, I looked up the sources. It was all fabricated. It was all made up. So you got to be careful about using AI, using the internet. You got to know who to ask. Okay, well, I'm telling you, somebody got messed up. They had to kosher their dishes because what the psak halacha that they got off the internet was just flat out wrong. It made them make their dishes treif, not kosher. So you be careful. Be careful. Using the internet can be very useful. I use the internet myself, but maybe you need you got to know which sites, you got to know how to ask the question, you got to know what question you're asking, and I use it to hear what other rabbis are saying, even though the actual halacha comes from the books, from my learning. But sometimes, it's good to know modern day other rabbis. I want to know before I give my psak. Yes, sir.
Rob, is it really prohibited to ask two different Robs the same question?
It's a good question.
What about if you haven't made one of them your Rob?
Right. So that's why it's a little flexible, because you really shouldn't go shopping for a psak halacha. So you say, okay, I'm going to ask 5 rabbis, and the ones that give the answer I like, I'll take him. Okay. No, that's not the right approach. Asking a rabbi for a psak, choose well before you ask him. And many times I'll get people coming and consulting with me, and they say, I'm not asking for a decision. You're knowledgeable. You happen to be a rabbi, I know that, but I don't want to make you my rabbi, but I want you to teach me what are the different opinions and what are the issues at stake. Right. And I'm happy to do that. I don't have to be everybody's halacha psak rabbi. But if you do, you say to one, listen, I don't know, I'm a beginner, I need a rabbi, I need a psak halacha, I need to know what to do. Should I keep 1 day of Yom Tov or 2 days of Yom Tov? Am I allowed to break my fast or not? So you're asking the halachic question because you respect my halachic opinion and my knowledge and my approach. If I give you the answer, you pretty much should follow that answer. Because if you don't, you just go ask another rabbi. So then you're not really asking a shaila. You're deciding on your own. You're saying, you should basically, they say there's a computer program. You put in the answer you want, and the computer spits out the rabbi who says it.
Wow. So
it's missing the whole point.
What about
right? You're not actually keeping halacha. You're keeping your own opinions, which is if you're a rabbi that has the training, by all means. If you're a scholar, it's a joke. That's a joke. Nowadays, it is more and more, like AI. Perhaps you could ask that, but I wouldn't trust it. They're not good enough yet.
No.
They may be next year good enough. I don't know, but right now.
So I'm not asking an opinion.
but I want to know the different approach. I mean, I'm not asking for a decision,
Yes.
but I want to know the different opinions regarding if a person in the process of conversion, so they already wear a talit katan, but they want to wear a talit gadol when they pray.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if they are trying to adopt.
I'll tell you the issues. I'll tell you the issues. One second, Hananel had a question too. I want to answer.
Well, I forget it. No, you already told me, long back ago, but when I say Amida, can I say Kados, something like Kedusa, something?
The answer is no.
No.
If you're in the middle of your silent Amidah, you don't answer anything.
Okay.
Don't interrupt. Yeah, very clear. Regarding your question, it's a longer talk, but I'll just try to get it in a nutshell. We have a half a minute left. Wearing a talit gadol, there's no problem with someone in the conversion process wearing a talit gadol. No essential problem. The problem is a communal issue. Somebody might think you're Jewish and try to give you an aliyah or try to marry you. Women are watching from the women's section.
They're in the Ashkenazi community, they're wearing one.
And they might think you're Sephardi, whatever. In any case, that's the only issue. And that's a social issue. It depends on the society. It depends on the community. In some communities, everybody wears a talit. It's no big deal. In some communities, they're used to having people in a conversion process. So before they give him an aliyah, they'll ask him, "Are you Jewish yet?" Or they'll ask somebody who knows them. Or they'll ask about him. But if you're worried that you go to somewhere that nobody knows you, nobody knows that you're in a conversion process, it might be misleading.
Yeah.
That's the main consideration in my book. And so there's some rabbis going to be more machmir on the social misleading issue, and some will be more lenient. They'll say, okay, if they ask you, you'll tell them, sorry, I'm not finished the conversion process yet. Ask me again next month, next year, whatever it is.
Is it more misleading than a talit katan? Because people stop it, wear tzitzit. But almost every person in the conversion process here wears tzitzit.
I think it's a good thing. That's a good thing. I don't think it's as misleading.
I can't count for me.
Right? Good. That's what you should say, of course.
Most people here know.
Right.
I think that people.
Well, Machon Meir is a unique place where we have a mix of Jews and converts, so it's a mix. But it's fine to wear talit katan. I don't think there's a problem. Although some rabbis are machmir. It's true, because of that, even with the talit katan. I think it's fine. The common custom is to be machmir on tefillin. And that's what the pretty much standard is, Machon Meir. Sometimes there's exceptions, but the standard is that you don't wear tefillin until you're almost ready to convert. It's just a month before, something like a bar mitzvah boy. A month before he becomes bar mitzvah, only then does he put on the tefillin. Because tefillin, there's more laws of holiness, there's more laws that you have to be careful about. Even, regular Orthodox Jews, they don't wear their tefillin for very long because we're worried about the holiness of the tefillin. So if you're not obligated, there's reason to wait with that one. But everything else, it's really a social concern. And if you think that there's no issue with the social concern, I think there's room to be lenient. Okay, we have to stop here. All right, we'll continue tomorrow. B'ezrat Hashem. Don't bring me tea tomorrow. Why not?
We're fasting.
We're fasting. Thank you.
It's hard.
Sorry?